My least favorite part about going fishing was having to take these things apart, especially with freshwater fish, because they have these little, so spiky.
Same thing with
Snapper
rockfish.
too. Snapper, rockfish. Lots of different fish have these little spines. Carp. Okay.
Protection.
So, just another way to go about it. Remember I told you there was another way to go about it. I would actually even suggest that before you start, just to minimize, especially since you guys are just practicing, just to minimize any injuries. Get a nice pair of shears. Okay, yeah, and then just go ahead and cut them off because you're not going to use them for anything. They're just going to be there to ruin your day. Normal scissors won't do the job. These are actually for fish. Hmm? What?
Wire cutters?
Oh, yeah, sure. As long as it's only for fish.
Once you use them for fish, that's it.
Well, once you decide, no. They should be bought only for food and used only for food. It's not like take them out of my cabinet and then only use them for fish.
So you would suggest that we use those pair only for fish or with all food?
You can use it for all food. Yeah, that's fine.
Look at me crazy.
Yeah, but
I didn't hear what he said.
anyway. So look here. So this fish we're going to feel the same way. We're going to use our hands and we're going to feel it. Don't like beat it up or anything, but feel around where it is. Okay. So I'm going to make a little incision in the tail. That'll mark my end point. Okay. And then I'm going to make one around the head. So I'm going to feel around the collar. Okay. All the way up here. There's a lot of meat up here towards the head. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in through the back, right above those where those fins were. And then I'm going to start to peel it back. I'm riding right along the bones. Right around the middle part here is where the spine is, and it raises up a little bit. So you're only going to be able to go halfway through, lift up the meat, go the other half. Okay? And you should feel the knife riding along the backbone.
I hate doing that stuff.
Okay? This is just a little bit different technique. Right? You can do it either way. And I just use the tip of my knife just like when we're butchering the fish
Chicken.
or the chicken. Works either way. But you want to make sure that you're right up against what we call these bones right here that come out of the spine. They're called radial bones. They radiate out. You want to make sure that you're right up against those radial bones so that you're not wasting any meat. Because fish is, believe it or not, extremely expensive.
Yep.
And especially by the time that you get done cutting the stuff up,
It's no meat.
your hand out of the way. Because the first couple of times you guys do this, it's not going to come out exactly how you planned. And so I gotta cut this. Oh, there's ice in there. You left the ice in there. I'm like, why is it so hard to cut through this? There's ice in there, that's why. Okay, and then we just cut through the stuff that's down here. Okay, and this comes right off. As long as we made our little incision all the way through around here. Okay? So it comes right off. And what we want to see is that we haven't left too much on there, and then this fillet is really nice and clean. Notice I'm just making cuts very gently, right? Not sawing at it. And then be very deliberate, because if you change your mind halfway through, you're going to tear up the meat. Okay, I'll leave this to the side. And then all we got to do is go through here, these little bones that are on the belly. We're going to go right up underneath them so that we get as much meat as we possibly can. Okay? We have a little bit left over. Now these bones we'll use for fish stock. Okay, or we'll make a fish fumet or whatever you want to do. Okay, so we always save these. We have our fishes. Now, for these ones, we're definitely going to take the skin off. So you're going to need to use your chef's knife because we're making a variation of a dish called trout or sole meuniere, where we're going to make a brown butter sauce, a little bit of lemon juice, a little bit of parsley. It's a very classic preparation, and it doesn't have the skin on it. So we want to make sure to take this off. You're going to have to be real careful with the tilapia because it's not as big as the salmon. Get right up underneath that skin, or right up underneath that meat, between the meat and the flesh. You're gonna wiggle it a little bit until you know it. When you know that you're right in between there, it's really easy. Okay? And you just wiggle all the way till the end. And this one is not quite as good. I tore it a little bit. So we go back here. I have a little bit left on there. It's harder to go back and take off. Just want to be real careful with that. Don't want to tear up my fish. It's a lot harder to get it off after you've done it.
That's how they do it in Japan, right there.
Real gentle. And a little bit, to be honest with you, won't kill you, as long as you serve it the right side up. Okay? This stuff, real nice in the stock pot. But this is what your tilapia fillet should look like. This is what your salmon fillet will look like, a little bit longer, and then you portion that up. So whole fish, parts of the fish. Now, we can also take the salmon and cut it into steaks by just taking the salmon, the whole salmon, and cutting it into cross sections, and then you have your salmon steak. You don't see those a lot in restaurants because we typically don't want bones in our food that we prepare. Any questions about the fish? Cool.